I was there for my sister when she gave birth to my first nephew, and like was holding her leg, and it's just such an interesting, an interesting thing. Because I'm more of a, I guess, in like hippie fashion, I definitely want to do like, the midwife and like home birth. I'm just, so against the system. I think, birth is so hard on the woman in general, but like to be in such a cold place, like, yes, you can get all the medical attention you need, but like immediately so that's a benefit, but then also just like it's a scary thing. But yeah, I mean, and I think that there are plenty of people, you know, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Did not know that they were meant to get squatting. I just, maybe on their knees. I have a doula client, and I've never thought to ask her what are the various ways a woman can give birth. And I might just hit her up and have a discussion with her on that, because I would, just love to know more information on it. Um, but yeah, I think there are plenty of examples of people whom of which, you know, caused almost irreparable damage to society, and are still having those changes take place in today's day and age. And we just look at it like commonplace. Oh no, of course. No, thank you for sharing. It's valid. Very valid. And it is indeed a hot take. I think anything revolving around, the crazy, infamous leaders or, movers, so to speak, is like, it's just so hot. Like, people, they wince when you talk about the things. But, you know, like, I guess I'm jealous of historians in that way. Like, in a certain light, right? Because I think, like, everyone has like the boundaries of which they can express things, like especially scholars on a certain level. Like, scholars are held to such a standard of like, don't say that, you know but that's not okay. But like, I don't know, I'm definitely, I want to hear it. I want to think about things from the perspective of that time period, and want to know that we have people looking into that, you know un unrestricted, looking into it. I agree. I agree. Being able to look into, you know, the hidden pieces, valuing this dingy book or these dingy love letters, reading old mail. It's such juicy tea, give me the good stuff. I want to know, you know, who was with who, and like what did that mean, and who was doing what and for what group and for what reason. I just know that's just like, we have a hard time talking about these hot takes in society. I know that, like, as a historian, you know, there has to be, you know, a piece of that too. You know, I can't think of, you know, an example off the top of my head, but like one of those things of where like if an establishment believes one thing about a group of people or about a subject matter, then like you having a contrary opinion like makes you the villain, right? You're instantly wrong. Oh, I'm gonna go down there. But I would enjoy it, you know. I think that's interesting about any high level job is like there will always be this like, you know, you can't say this type of energy, unfortunately. Romanovs? Put that on my tab. Okay, cool. Yeah, put them on my to do. What about them specifically makes them worth looking into? Ooh, can I how to make scaffolding? I think that would help me. Ooh, my God, the levels. The levels. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. That's so spicy. Like, wow. We think it's like scathing now. Come on. We don't even have like those type of influential figures doing things on that level. Everything's too out in the open. Like, then you could have a secret. And it's not too many secrets going on in today's day and age. People will figure it out. Oof. Scaffolding. Let's get some scaffolding in. What? Why are you? Need some help? You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, and that's something. What the heck? That's something I definitely want to, as an adult, you know, reading more into history and you know, since it doesn't have to be contrived history, I can actually, you know, find those little tidbits like that and look into the cultural significance and the references and, you know, taking the time to do that. Um, Reading less fiction, though I love fiction. I feel like we have some great artists who have done great jobs of like reimagining the world. I think there's just a lot of information out there from like, you know, real sources. closet has a linen. Uh-huh. Good old propaganda. I think that's something else. Like I think the good old Adolf crew um had going for them to have a propaganda director. And I think everybody does. I think every good society has a propaganda director or someone who is tasked with like, how can we spin this? You know, that guy they go to. Um, but I just thought that was such a bold move. Like we know who, you know, their crew's uh propaganda person was, and like just seeing the moves they were making to spin it, you know. But yeah, those moves of war. That's interesting. Yes, I have a Discord, like an account. I don't have a server yet. Shoot me your user if you'd like, and I can add you on there. Do 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 do. Scaffolding. I don't know why my brain is just like not able to focus on that. What? It's only bamboo? What? Ugh. There's no bamboo near me, I don't think. Cool. Let me add you right now. Sent that friend request. Oh, so bamboo. What we got here? Toggle dimension, cave mode, map switching options. No. Plains grow. What's here? Orchard. Forest. Prairie. Fir clearing. River. Redwood forest. Overgrown greens. Yeah, redwood forest. Ocean. Yeah, I didn't run into anywhere that I have bamboo. Oh, that would be so amazing. Just do scaffolding. Maybe we'll try a ladder. Might be able to have a drop down ladder. I'm not exactly sure what all is in here. Oh yeah, yeah. I like that. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna check that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's beautiful. Carmen. Ooh. Public meeting? Okay, that's wild. The manifesto of public meeting. Yeah, so like as far as like the swastika goes, like yeah, well aware of like it being used as a symbol of peace and then kind of being like bastardized into like the meaning that it ended up taking. But like, what's with the Communist Manifesto meeting? This is not something you expect to see. Like, what, we're still talking about this? Like, is this like an interest meeting of sorts? Good man, good man. I don't know, maybe they're talking about something of worth. It'd be those type of things that, I don't know. I wouldn't have a problem hearing them out. Like, will there be pizza? I'll show up. Pad your numbers out. What? Oh. 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 Are there more? Wow. Okay. Went out for coffee. No, it's definitely not something you see every day. Super interesting. I love the style of flyers. A graphic design. I guess that's maybe why like I'm into as a graphic designer. I think that's maybe why I'm into propaganda. Like, what do you decide to use for your advertisement for something of such malicious or whatever your event is? Because I don't mean to say that communism is malicious or anything. Like, I have my opinion on it, but like whatever. But like just an interesting thing. Like, how do you market to your people, to those groups? Like, and how is that imagery and the psychology of colors and um, the psychology of said imagery and like all of those things are really interesting to me. So thank you for sharing that. I'm actually it might go in one of my folders for the the imagery of like pretty dope graphic design and just one of those like quirky things you don't see. I really appreciate you sharing that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, let me have it up side by side here. Like, like he's a, how do you say, scholar, a man of worth, you know? Like, okay. Red also super bold. What does this say? Public meeting, socialist alternative. Socialist alternative. Like, what are you wanting to convey there? Then an older gentleman typically, like, you know, denotes like someone who is more wise. You know, white beard is seen as like a calling card for like, oh, you know what you're talking about. Even if that's like a fallacy. You know, age doesn't equate wisdom all the time. In fact, age can sometimes signify ignorance, willful ignorance at that, repressed ignorance. Yeah. You know, those caricatures, how those caricatures are used as a, you know, I guess a virtue signaling. Is it like anti-virtue signaling, or like, I don't know like the best way to express that, but I think like that's an interesting point. Yeah. And I mean, I guess it's very interesting, right? Like, especially like again as a black person, and like, you know, we have plenty of caricatures, you know, with big lips and like super dark skin, and like made to, you know, look very much so uneducated and the fool, so to speak, right? And it's like that image persists in the minds of others. Either that, or we always made to seem like brutish, something to be feared. Um, but like just a person. Hey, how you doing? I too have fears of things, you know. But then I can imagine from the, you know, the Jewish perspective, like it's such a bad rap. How do you come back from that? And I guess like that's the whole thing of like anti-Semitism and like don't be anti-Semitic. Um, and then the whole control thing. It's hard to fight that. The reason why I say it's hard to fight that is because like that's not even just like PR on a certain level. Like, are you all in positions of power? Do you hold a significant amount of wealth? Like, you know, and do you run, you know, all these power holding groups? Like, are your hands and all those things? That's not to say, you know, it's malicious. It's just like, hey man, what's going on with that? Right? You can't fault someone for having wealth and knowing how to use it, and being knowledgeable of like not repeating the past, because I think that's a big thing of it, is like, you know, never forget, never again, you know. That's a really strong thing. Oh, a goblin trader. Tanya. Well, Tanya, you will never leave this hole. Ah, stop it, Tanya. Don't make this harder than it has to be, Tanya. Tanya, stop it. No, you You can't leave now, Tanya. Anyway, what do you have for me? Oh, great trades, Tanya. Oh, yes, I'll take those trades too. Oh, you have great trades, Tanya. Yeah, that's wild. I think we should be able to have friends across religions or social structures in general. We're all just shades of wheat. We're all human. We've all done horrible things. We'll do horrible things as groups and collectives, or like, you know, horrible things have happened. That's not to say like, you know, we excuse them and we pardon it, hold people accountable, but like, you know, how do you say, as an American, because I feel this as an American, I've not committed those atrocities. I live in comfortability because of said atrocities that have been committed, but I'm not even, I aim to not even be a cog in the wheel. I am just a person. I'm just a unit So judging me as a unit, as well as holding, by and large, my people accountable for those things. But to say, don't hang with those people, that's so unfortunate, because you miss out yourself. You miss out on experiencing that other perspective by being so closed off. So I'm glad to hear that you're willing to fight that. And yeah, the Jewish people haven't come back from that, and it's hard. It is so hard to fight that. So hard. Once you get a bad rep, then you're just, I don't know, you're typecast in a sense. I'll give you a light, Tanya. I'm not inhumane, Not a monster. Oh, what is this? Silver ore? Cool. Oh. Isn't that like as soon as I go into a village, then it's gonna start a raid? That's fun. I'm not equipped to deal with that. Oh, thanks for that. I appreciate that tidbit. I'll definitely drink some milk. Let me see.